We're gonna bring down the institution, create a revolution, and the world will be free for you and me.
Hello and welcome to the Test Podcast, which we all are tested, so you are too. What is it? It is a global movement for world peace. Now I have a special guest here, Jeffrey. He is from somewhere which he brings a lot of stories in. And I want to just ask you and first say, hello, Jeffrey, how are you? Tell me.
I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. I'm here in St. Louis, Missouri.
Awesome.
I'm happy to be here, to speak about my test and support the tested movement.
Awesome. Actually, so you've been tested as well in your life. Now, as you know, to be tested is something everybody goes through. And it's, I think, very important that we actually know also a little bit what is the thing that you have been tested by, because that might help a lot of people in their lives as well. So what story is it that you have been tested in your life?
I think I have a lot of tests, but I think the main test that sticks out is oppression. Things bringing me to a situation to the point of being one check ahead or away from being homeless, with interest rates going up every year on my house payment, car payments colossal, because of interest being overcharged. And it's just like, wow, I'm stuck in a rut, basically. Like I'm like a rat, in a wheel that's running. I have to work. There's really no free time to do other things, to work and keep feeding the systems, keep feeding taxes and paying taxes, and all my money is always gone to something other than my well-being and keeping me, my welfare in good standing. So, I mean, that's a big test.
Interesting, isn't it? But you know what? What happens then? I mean, what happens? Because it goes up price-wise. You have to have 1, 2, 3 jobs to keep somehow alive. What happens?
Yes, it's the it's the system. To keep you working and keep you off balance of living your life, keep you working to keep feeding itself. So therefore, as long as you maintain these jobs and bringing in, as me, I do a truck. I'm a trucker, bringing in produce and different things like that, to keep feeding the system so the rich can get richer. The government system could continue to take advantage and keep us working and keep feeding and lining their pockets. And that's just my aspect of feeling it. And that's what I cause and say, oppression. Like, hey, I feel depressed. I don't have a life. I can't enjoy my life or I'm in fear of losing my home if I don't continuously keep my hands to the grindstone, steadily working and pushing myself and instead of enjoying while I'm here. And that's to enjoy life and, being a good servant here on earth.
So have you become homeless for a while? And if yes, how was that?
Yes. I was homeless a while back where I didn't have anywhere to go. My baby mama put me out. I had lost my mother and father. I moved to another state from my original origins. And so I was learning the new area and I didn't come with the right intentions. So things like addiction to alcohol kind of, had me deterred on the right focus, which was taking care of my well-being and building structure for myself, which is another aspect of the system of greed, alcoholism, and you get addictions and then you pay your money towards that, which is another problem within the whole. And so, I never was to the point where I was on the street corner because I knew people and, people would take me in, and let me stay there. So I stayed different places back and forth, people's house, slept on the floor, or had a girlfriend and she kicked me out. And then I was in the street for like half a day and nowhere to go. And so, I came out of it. I came out of the situation through hard work, and just, like I say, keeping my hands to the grindstone and continuously working. But a lot of it was due to depression, having kids, not being stable, child support. And once the government gets into that, that's another form of, hey, I'm gonna put the steering wheel in your back, you know, and I'm gonna keep driving. So you got to work for that. You making a few dollars an hour at the end of the week, have your check gone, you know, and then the kid's not even getting it. It's going to the system. You know,
Got
even
it.
just
Got it.
charging on your debit card, you know, no, just charging just to use your debit card. It's an extra charge for that. So it's I always seem like it's a way that is structured to keep you evaded where you can never advance and
Got
grow.
it. Yeah. Okay, got it. Well, in your opinion, what is the problem? What is the problem of the system that homelessness occurs anyway? Well, what is the root cause?
Like anything, the root of all evil, and that's money. We need, of course, money is not everything, but we need money to live. And the more people, the more money you have, the more you become the pillar of the community, the more you have a bigger voice. If you can put yourself in different positions, you can even grow into a global leader, you know. And so that's the main objective, I think. I think is to own, to have a self-importance, to own everything, to be able to control everybody and can take when I want to, and you know, and I can give if I feel sorry enough for you. And you know, like the governmental system is really big at that. You know, we give you food stamps or SNAP benefits, you know, if you're doing bad enough, you don't make nothing but $1,200 a month. But anything above that, then you're on your own. So, I mean, it's just the fact that it's keeping everybody at bay and staying in control and it's trying to be a powerhouse. So, and a lot of people get oppressed by that.
Well, how did you manage to find your way out of this situation, and where has the system failed, the government and all? You know, as typically I hear many times that people are struggling in finding either way a job or finding the place to stay for several reasons. There is very weak support from the government in any aspect. And it looks like that you as a personality or as a person as such, just taking all the burdens that comes along when it comes to make money or to find a job. I mean, if you don't have a home, it's most probably a little bit harder to get a job than when you have a home, because they will ask you, well, where do you live? And let's just say, well, I'm living on the street. You most probably won't get a job. So where is the problem there?
Well, I mean, no, to kind of back up to where you asked before, how did I get out of the situation to the point that I am now? I had to get tired. It's like nobody's going to help me, and so I'm gonna have to help myself. So I left, and I started trying to develop towards this new career, and I was getting gypped into that situation, and I was working only get like negative $14 check, you know, at the end of the day. And this is true story, because I was working independent. People would just pay me whatever they want to pay me. So I eventually got into trucking, you know, and I had already went to trucking school, and I ended up going to trucking. I just got on the road, stayed on the road for 2 years, you know, and that kept me from being homeless, because so I could sleep in the truck. And I could go maybe stay with a relative if I just wanted to be out the truck for a week or two and go back on the road. Stayed out at one time for 3 months straight, you know, and still I was starving. I started, but then when I graduated, got into a bigger company, then I was able to start feeling that stability. And I started feeling like I was taking care of myself again. And so they just started working out from there. But I stayed. I mean, it's kind of like my own walk. You know, I did my own walk. Like, hey, I'm gonna walk away from everything, and it's just me. And if I survive this, I'm gonna be all right. And I just learned from that experience. And I suggest like influence get you, you know, certain negative influence to get you homeless quicker than anything. You know, being around people who don't have their future planned out, that's not making the best decisions for themselves, and then you know, being around the influence, and then you living carefree of your responsibilities and things. Then, because once you fall by the wayside, the government, like you say, they're not going to give you the assistance that you need. They're going to play that we're giving you the assistance, you know, and we'll give you a little bit of taste of something, but we're not going to truly help you, because it's going to help us continue to make grants to people that they use as puns to seem like they're helping the community. You know, they guard it just like it's theirs, you know. So I mean, it's just really staying focused and not letting the negative things that other people doing affect you. So you can stay focused, hey, you know, not worry, but you know, stay focused on taking care of your responsibilities and staying consistently working and trying to empower yourself. And then that helps out a lot because, like I say, once you fall by the wayside, it's hard to get back up. It's hard, and it'll make you give up. I hate to say it as a joke, but it was time in my life I felt like just laying out in the you know, out in the woods, just let the squirrels and run all over top of me and let the birds fly down on me. You know, I just, you know, to the point I didn't care no more, but you know, I overcame it. But with the tested, you know, trying to, you know, having somebody to believe in, like God to actually believe in him, he gave me strength. A lot of it, he just carried me through. You know, he actually put me when I couldn't make it on my own. He just enlightened me and he walked for me. You know, he carried me. That's a true story. So
sounds like it is important for people to know that there is always a hope. That the TESS movie and the TESS movement as such is something that really goes around to support people. And now in your particular situation, you seems to be obviously a personality that has its strength in yourself. And if you want to give some advices to people who have actually a hard time, who eventually even are somewhere on the street and have no clue what to do, what is your advice that made you also strong enough internally to move on, to not give up? Because giving up is not an option.
You said it perfectly a few seconds ago. Hope. Hope. You know, I kept hope. I said, hey, things are gonna change for me. You know, so I kept the hope, I kept the belief, and I knew I could feel the presence of God. So I asked him to stay with me. It's a whole different story, but it was in situations. I actually asked him and I actually felt his presence right there. It's totally different story. And just stay focused, know it's gonna get better. Get up every day and make a step towards your goal that you're reaching. If it's no more than writing it on paper and trying to visualize it. You know, just start at simple things until you get stronger and stronger and building your faith. Because without having faith and hope, you know, it's just like a blind person walking. You walk by faith, you know, not by sight. So you have to know inside of yourself, and you just have to work on all 8 cylinders, keep all 8 cylinders going. If one cylinder broke down in a car, the car is not going to run correctly. And the same that the body, if your mind, your body, and your spirit is not in one, and you don't strengthen it and exercise and make it strong, then it'll fall apart or it won't run correctly. So you fall into depression, you'll fall into the things that hurt you. You know, it'll hinder you. It'll put a handicap. So you just have to have faith and just know that things are gonna be right and gravitate to your higher power. So
get that. Well, now in regard of the system and the government and the laws and everything, with your experience, what would you say that people need to take care to watch out for, to not get into a trap and fall out of their own wheel? What would be your thoughts about that?
Wow. Well, not to get into a trap, it's kind of hard because there's so many traps out there. They're booby traps. I mean, they're set everywhere, from the government to policing, to financial institutions, car dealerships, housing, even just Section 8 housing. So many traps. Govern yourself. Govern yourself. Know what you're doing. When you make a decision, know what decision you're making. Research your decision. Time making any big time financial investments, do the research before you do it. Know who you're dealing with. Make sure that you know this, you learn about the background. There's so many resources now, Google, the internet. You don't have to go to the library. You don't have to go to the courthouse to learn it. You can do it right from home, or You can go to the library if you don't have a computer to find out the different sources that and better business bureaus and look up different places, financial institutions, and see what comments people have been saying. You know, same thing with jobs, you know, if they got a 5-star rating and things like that. Know about your situation before you get into it. And map out a plan. Because it's easier to just get up in the morning and just go out there and just start doing things. But they work a totally different way if you have your day planned out, you know, and you can get your mind trained to be prioritized and be organized, you know. So that's why I prioritize and organize and know what you're dealing with, know the nature of the beast before you know.
So as a conclusion, I could actually say, learn as much as you can about everything that is around you to be prepared at best, and don't give trust to others who don't know you, who are not working in your interest.
Right.
And that's what it is actually. As a very short summarization, is that about what it is?
Yeah, because even I could say you could apply that to any level. Because you can apply that in the streets also. Let's say if you're a hustler out in the streets, you can't trust everybody out here. You got people who are trying to rob you. You got people who out here in gangs, you know, just setting people up, women. So it's so many different aspects. You can apply it to everyday living in any aspect of life, you know, because like say it's so many traps to fall in, but you can't be fearful of the traps. You just have to know how to maneuver your way through life so that life will be rewarding for you. And that's what I mean by the planning phase, you know. Good preparation, you know, always make your performance a lot better. So
okay, cool. Well, that's awesome lessons. Thank you very much, Jeffrey. It was really an honor, pleasure having you here on the show, talking about a very personal experience that you went through. I think a lot of will help that and appreciate that. Thank you very much, Jeffrey.
I sure thank you for having me on, and I really enjoyed spending the time conversating with you and also being able to engage with the audience that's listening. And I'm thankful that they're listening in.
Thank you very much. Well, you are listening here to the Tested podcast, and if you like to be one of my guests here, to be interviewed, to share your story, because it matters, not only from one, but every single story matter. Then go to testedmovie.com, get the connection, get the contact, engage, because your story, we are a global movement to bring peace to the world. This was Walter Schmid speaking on the Tested podcast. Stay safe. See you, hear you on the next episode. Make sure that you stay tuned and be here again.
We're gonna bring down the institution, create